to do. So I will review the last topic I discussed because there is going to be a project on that topic, and that topic is on the wall API. So let me open the folder for that particular class, so that you can see the last activity what we did there here now. So, and I think this is not the folder for your own class. Okay, where is the okay, yeah, this is the folder. Okay, good. So that is the last class. If you can watch that video, what we talk about is what is the API, how you can be able to to make use of API in our Vue.js. And I said that one of the important of the API is that API is a software you can consume on your website. The video was explain almost for everything. There are many front-end developers today that when we are working on a project, you may want another information from another website to appear on your website, and that's what we call API. Maybe you are building a weather application now. Do you get now? So once you build the weather application, you want the different weather application to appear on your own website. So that weather application is the data that are available on the on the API application. So this API, that API is the application they already built. So we talk about how the API data can be used on our website, and there are some sample API data which we discussed the last time. Like for example now, we talk about so many URL here where you can get some API data. We talk about the user API here. There's some data called user API. This one take us the API. API return data in a JSON format. All this one, they are the website to different type of the API data. And when we say API, API is a web application like a website. But what the API return is a data. There's API that return the list of all universities in Nigeria here. There's API that return the list of all the users here. So we pick one of these API here. We pick it to retrieve data from it. Like for example now, if I copy this particular API URL here and I paste it on my browser, just like this, what we are going to see here now is going to be the data returned by this API. You can see these are the data this API will return for us. And I also say that this data now, once this API return the data, you might not see data very well. I also say that you can use a software called Postman to be able to display your API data in a well-defined format, in a format that is going to be readable. I suggest that you can download this particular Postman in that video, so that I can be able to use it to test any API data if you want to use the API data on your Vue project, so that I can be able to have a detailed information of how the API data look like. These are the same URL we used the last time now. So for me to see the API data here, I click on send there now. You see the list of data and go to return. Can you see? These are the data now. The same data which I display on this browser that appear like this now is the same data this particular Postman designed properly. It contains the user information, ID, first name, last name, gender, email, phone number. These are all this information, and this is the API we use. When you want to consume an API, or when you access any API online, data appear like this. But your job is, as a front-end developer, is to use a view to retrieve this particular data and display it in a well-formatted way. And that is exactly what we did in our project. Let me now show you that project we did the last time now. This is a project here now. And I want to preview this particular project, npm run SAP now. So we create a Vue project that can consume the data that are available on this API here and display it in a well-formatted in a well-presentable way, because data cannot be appear properly here now. So for that data to be appear properly, we need to use the view to display the record of all these users. So in coming down to this particular our project here, we are able to display those information. You get it now? So I'm still waiting for this project to complete. Okay, it has not complete now. So if I click on this URL now, you will see all the data that we consume from this API. We see display here. And now we create this particular application again You will see the process in the last video of what you did in the last class. So, okay, this is my browser now. Can you see all those data now? You can see this one, Emily Johnson. The same API data which you preview, which we see on this particular one, Postman here. It is the same API data that will now display properly on this particular web browser. Let me also display those data here now. When I click on paste for that API data, this here again, you can see this. When I check here again, you can see the same API data here now. So this API data you see here, ID1 Emily Johnson, this is how the API return data. API is a web application that return data in a JSON format like this. So when the API return data in a JSON format like this, they are now expecting you, a front-end developer, to be able to read this data and display it in a presentable format like this. And that is exactly what we did in the last class. So now, in summary of how we do it, I said that for us to consume this API data, when we create a component in Vue, the first thing we need to do is to install a package for that API. We say there's a package we must install before you can start consuming the API in our application. And that package is called Ashes and Vue Ashes. We have to install this Ashes, we have to install this Vue Ashes. Both of them is already installed. After install both of them, we now create this component here now. The component we create is going to be in the form of table, so that all the data you want to display from that API, we put it in a table format, and that's why we have this particular table format here now. And after that again, we now define this is the header for the data that going to come from the API, and this is where we want the data to appear. But the next thing we do now is we now go to the script section to import the value file for the package we install. We install this Ashu. This is one of the package we install. This is second package we install. Once we import both of them into the component we are using for the API, we now register them to the Vue use here now. After that again, we now define a variable here, that whatever data coming from this API here, all data this API is going to return here, we want to store it in a variable temporarily in our Vue, and that variable is called user DB. Do you get it now? After that, we now use this particular mounted. The mounted is that the moment this particular page is load, system to display the data, not when you click on the button. You don't want to say on clicking on button load data. You want to say when the page is load, display data coming from the API, and that's why we use for this particular mounted. Then we now use view.ashu.get to copy the URL. This is the URL where the API data is coming from. If you look at this URL here now, you will notice that it's not different from this URL I see use here now. So all this API data that are returning on my browser, you write a code and go to retrieve it. And the code to retrieve that API is this view.ashu.get. So when the view.ashu.get retrieve data from that API, it will store it in this variable called response. So when stored in the variable called response, the next thing now is that we are not picking the response to retrieve the data from that API. If you look at the API here have a variable name here called user, and all this particular user, they are now, all this data now, they are not inside that user. This ID1 up to like how many we have now? There are so many. Can you see? The last one here is what? Is 30. That's the 30 record. Do you get now? So all the 30 record from here, everything is being retrieved and stored in this response. We now say response.data.user. That means the name of all data from API is called user, because they store it in the user from the API. That's how we are now saying that the response should get data from the user, and then we are now assigning it. We assign it to the user DB, which already defined here. That is it. Once that is done, we are now using V for here, V for loop, to retrieve the data from that user DB. We are now retrieving it and display inside each of these TD. That's why all the record you see there. Let's say, for example, now there's another column that is not there. I have the ID for name, first name, last name, phone number, email, birthday, and university. That's some of the information I selected. Let's assume that I want to add something like a gender. This is gender here now. I want to add the gender or password. I want to add it to those what? Data. Do you get it now? If I'm going to add it to the data, or I want to add the information like what? SSN number. Can you see? This SSN number, I want to add it, and I want to add what? What do I call it now? I want to add the SSN number, I want to add the country. Do you get it now? So what I can do now is since this API is working, I will define the column where the SSS number is going to appear like this. I copy this line, and now coming down here, 1 and what? 2. I say user dot what? SSN number, and user dot what was the next one? User SSS number and SSS number, user to SSS number. So SSS number, okay, and SSS number. I have university. I think I have country already. Let me check whether we have country from what we return here already. So okay, I think country is there. Let's say I want to add the SSS number too. Maybe that's what I want to add now. So since I already had the SSS number here, I already have the university. Oh, country is not here. Okay, country is not here again. Okay, no, it's not country. We can't add the country. We can't add the country. I think the only you can add is see the SSS number. SSS number. SSS number. Okay, but let me check whether I can add the country now, and country. Okay, and country. I want to add the country and SSS number, so I can now return back here and add those two columns to it. You get now? So this 1 and this is what? 2. So this is going to be titled for what? SSN, Social Security what? SS number. And this is going to be what? Country. Do you get it now? And I save this now. So the moment I save this one again, if you look at this particular one, response here now, can you see now? The SSS number is now appearing, but the country value, I cannot pick it. Let me see. I think it's not the country I'm supposed to add. The country should belong to another ID. Maybe I want to add the block group now for them because of the what? The size. I will change that country to what? To the block group. So country go to be what? Blood. Okay, blood group. Okay, and this one is going to be one. And what's the name for that blood group here? We call it blood group again. Okay, I copy this blood group, so I can now replace this one here as well as a blood group. So as I save this one again and return back here, you can see the SSS number is here, blood group is here. So all this is data that come from the API. So how this one is being done is being discussed in the last class. And that's why I want to talk more about this today, because there will be project for you on this. You can go to work on maybe 2 projects or 3 projects for me, but one project must be this API. You know how to consume it. So one major thing I want to explain this night now, because that's the summary of what the last slide saw about, is that when you want to work on your API, in case of next time, API, there are different type of API available. Like I told you, these are some of the URL for any API. If you want to use any API on your website, you have to get this particular URL. And there are so many websites again that make a free API available for, while some API, they are paid. You get now? So API, there are free API. And I say then there's there's a paid API. Do you get it now? Let's go for some of this again now. So to get some API, I can come down and say free API for front-end developer now. You can see now, in case, because you must learn how to use this API. There are some sites that make free API available. You can see this rapid API here. These are the way you can get some free API. Do you get it now? That's very important site. You can see this one, Files API. There's another site again. You can get API here now. Okay, these are some of the two sites here. And like what you see here now, these are the other sites you can get API here now. You can see this is where you can get, these are the free API. There's a news for API. There's a news API. There's a what? Movies API. If I click on the news here now, this API is where you can get what? Different type of the API for the news. Somebody asks you to create a news website. When you are creating a news website, where do you go to get the detail of some of the current news? There are some websites they already have the detail of some of those current news. Those websites they are referred to as well API website. So when you open this one again now, if you go to some of the website, you will see the data of the news in this format. That's the JSON format. So your own job to what? To now design your program to retrieve that data for the API and display it in the web presentable format one we have here, in just the way we did our own here now. You now display it in web presentable format here. You get it now? So in addition what to that again, let's look at some other API. Apart from that, there are one particular document here that can show us some of the top 15 free API without key. Because like I say, there's some API that is free, but they don't have a key authentication. Some API are free, they will request for the key. If you are using some free API, they will ask you to do what? To get what you call key. And to get the key, you must what? You must register with those company. Registration is what? Is free. So once you register, they will give you the key to use your API. But this particular paid one, they are going to charge you for the money for you to use their API. Some of the API that people pay for, you will see them. There are some of them used for what? A payment gateway API or API that contains some important word datas. Do you get it now? That is it. Like this particular site I open here now, where you can see some of the free API. The site here is called what's the name of this site here now? The site name here is called what? Okay, API Fanny. That's the name of the site now. Let me just put it here now. Free API, free public API now. This is another one. You can see Rapid API here. This okay, we already these people have a free API. So it's something you can Google for to be able to get a lot of API Fanny. This is another place you can get API list. All these API have a different type of data, even though Google also have the API you can use. Like on this first API we happen here now, there's API that give information about the security here. API about security, API about movies. Can you see now? There's API about movies, there's API about job. Do you get now? These are the different type of movies. If you want to create a movies one API, do you get it now? So these are the way you can get different type of movies. So most of the company you see online, most of the website you see online today, they are still a movies website where you download. All those particular website, now they are not the one they saw the latest movie. So there's some application they already have information about all the movies. Those applications are called the API. So once you consume those API data, you can display it. Whether movies, whether music, whether live score in sport, everything is available. You get it now? So you can display some Netflix movies. You can display it on your website. This is a movies and TV code. So if I click on this particular one here now, maybe I'm thinking of using this particular movies API here now. You can see they've given you the a URL on how to use it. Do you get now? And these are the how you can get different type of the information. If it's the quotation for the movies here, you can click here now. This one give you some information about the quotation word for the movies. You get it now? And if you return down here again, so let me say category movies code snippet here. Okay, good. This is a URL for that particular movies here now. HTTPS. Do you get it now? But this one might request for what you call what? This URL now, they can request for what you call authentication. before you can use it. Let's see if they need the authentication or not, because there's some that did not need the authentication. You see now, before you can use this one, you have to get API key. That's why I say sometimes need API key. Now look at this one here now. This one did not need API key. You can see you don't need the API key here, and that's why you can see some of the API here now. Look at this API here. This one going to give you information about the coins. This give information about the nationalities of different people. If you mention a particular person name, this API return the country where the person come from. That's what it does. You get now. And you can see the URL for this API, like I said, just like the URL we have for the API we use in our class here now, at this API. So if you see any API you want to use, you get it now. This API request for data. I copy the URL like this. Do you get it now? And I put that API here. So API must specify the name, tell me the country you come from. Nathaniel. When I run this one now, you will see the kind of response. Nathaniel country, that means probably the country Nathaniel can come from. System telling me country name can be Nigeria, okay? It can be what? Ghana, okay? It can be what? Netherlands. It can be US. That is some of the name. So what if I now come down here now? I use the name and say what? Adeola. Okay. Ayomide now. Ayomide. Let's see country where Ayomide will come from. Can you see now? They have picked that word. The name like this come from Nigeria, Ayomide. The name like this come from Netherlands or maybe New Zealand. And the region LY here. And this is the one. Maybe IS here. And the US. These are the country where you can come across name called Ayomide. Let's say what? Buhari now. Buhari. Buhari is a popular name too. Can see say Nigeria. Okay, you can see Buhari in Nigeria. You can see in Ghana. Maybe you can see in Qatar. Any kind of foreign name now. Okay, maybe here now say what? Putin. Putin, you can see Nigeria. When I say Putin, system will not return. You can see. Can you see? Russia is one of the places you can see what Putin. You get it now. UAE here is Ukraine. You can see Putin there. That is another one. So this API is told if you input the name of any person here, you can get the nationalization where the person come from. That's what this API does. This one show you the image of API have a different information. You can see this one show the university available. So there are many other API here too. We can also get the information from them, whether the music lyric and love calculation and live score. If you come back here again, you see how some other different type of the API for different work purpose. You get it now. So this one API give us the weather information. This is the work qualification. This is the free music work API. You get it now. And once we click on this one, let's see whether it is free or the request for work key. Once they don't request for key, you can see the URL to test the API, free music API here now. Can you see now? This is something like a URL you can click on. When I click on this URL here now, you can see it here now. I can paste it on this particular browser now and see. So this is going to return. Can you see? If I now check here now, just like what I did, you can see now. So that means this API return the name of the music, the type of the music, and some information about the author of the music, author of the musician too. The style pop-up and everything, the born year, the form year. So this is another type of API here a user can also be used. So I will advise that you go through most of this particular site again to learn more about this API. And first thing I want you to do is to watch this video of our API within the last class here now. Very important first. You first need to watch the video and make sure you understand how this particular our last class API, how we create it, and be able to also create your own too. You get it now? That is it, because this is the last topic we did there. Part 1 and part 2, how we fed our API. So if you can do the same API using the class, and it work, that's good, that will be good. And secondly, do you get it now, you can try any of this one because this is one I use in the class. You can also try any of this one to see if you can use it. That is two. Once you be able to do that one, then I have one assignment for everybody here, which is from this video. This video will give you more. I want to upload this one to the YouTube. Do you get it now? I will send this one directly to you. Do you get now? So that you can quickly download it. So this particular video, it will give you, there's an assignment I want you to do here. The video is about summary of everything we have done again. So on this particular, especially the API here. So you see part one here, we talk about the router here again and how to fetch API in this video. You can watch it more. The same thing for the part two. You get it now. But the most important one here now is this weather app. So I want you to go through this particular weather app video. Do you get it now? I'll send this one to you and do and practice everything that is there. This video is a tutorial that guide you on how to create a weather app API using Vue.js. Are you getting it now? It is very simple. Just follow every information that is there. Do you get now? You will discover that you'll be able to create your own weather app API that can give you the weather for anywhere, any country at any time. So that is what I want all to do. Do you get now? And after that again, I want every one of you, after you go through all this particular site for this particular API, I really want you to pick one of the API you want to work on because you have to create a simple API website in Vue. Do you get it now? That is it. You have to create a simple API website in Vue. And at the same time, you have to complete your front-end project. So the two important projects I want you to do now is you have to work on the project one, which are going to be put online. Project one is going to be your HTML, CSS with with JavaScript now. That's project one. See the project one, project two here is going to be on Vue.js with API. So that's the two projects you have to work on. I believe everybody's already have a topic on this project one, but the project two, I want you to choose the API topic, or I will assign API topic to every one of you one by one so that I can work on it. Are you with me now? So maybe I should do this one here now without wasting the time. So the first one here now is going like this. These are the topic I'm going to give to every one of us here now one by one on this API, back here and back here. Okay, so these are some of the topics everybody is going to work on one by one now on the API. Okay, so and okay, back to here now, back to here. Okay, so here are some of the topics here now, so one after the other. So I'll say this one to us here now. This is it now. So there is a news API, there's a language translator API, there's dictionary API, currency converter API. All these API are free. But if there's any of this one you want to change later, you can work. So I want you to pick, okay now, this is what will happen. Pick API topic here. Pick a topic for your API project here now. So I will send this information to you now. So you are going to pick a particular topic here. But if there's any other one you want to choose, okay, no problem. So I'm not adding, but I want you to practice the one for the weather API. That's it. Practice the one for the weather API. So don't be surprised, there will be another topic I'm going to add to this API again. So this is another API I want you to work on now. Here now there's what you call Bible API. That is it again. There's a Bible API. They get now. And there's what you call app news. There's a live scores API. But don't say because you like something, some are more challenging. There's a payment API. So there's a dictionary API. Okay, we have that on currency converter API. movies API. Also, there's a music API too. So from all these particular API here, you are going to pick a topic you are going to work with. Do you get now? And before this month end, I want us to work to be able to present something to us. So we are still going to be meeting. Anytime you are working on API, I want us to be review whatever you are working on, maybe every two days now, till you complete this project. You can know that some of us are going back to school, which I want us to have one project push online. So this project is going to be what? Uploaded online. We have to upload this project, upload what? Online. Do you get it now? So to upload online, we are going to talk about that when I see the project get to that stage, because to require what? A domain name, and what? Hosting space. If you are going to put this project online, you will need to get a domain name, you need to get the hosting space. You get now, to put the project online, so that for everybody to see what we are doing. So that is a summary of what I want to present to you guys. What this system to learning. Okay, so that is the summary of what I want us to discuss today now on this particular activity. So pick a topic, and again, like I said, deadline date, that's going to be what? The 3rd of what? October. Hmm, no. So final date going to be what? 30. Okay. Uh, uh, dead. Okay, I see what. Um, end date. End date. Maybe what? 31st of September. That's it. Okay, 30. Okay, so 30 September 2025. So that will be the end date for this. Hmm. So that is all what I wanted to discuss today now. So please, any question now from here? Hello, Ayomide. I see any question now? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. If you can pick it now, that'll be okay. But I want you to send the topic to me by before Monday, so that I'll know what everybody is working on now. I will. Yes, for the project one. What we are going to do on project one is going to, I already gave you a topic before, the topic we are working on previously. Yes, that is project one. Do you get it now? That is project one. but you need to give me the update on that one now. So I want to get the update on what where you have stopped, so that as you are working on this, you still need to send the code to me. But the best way we can work on the project now to make it more easier, let me explain that one now, is that one. For this project to be very easy for us to work, to review, it would have been better if you guys can upload it online. So once you upload it online, you only send the URL of that particular project to me. Do you get it now? And that is it. It would have been better to upload it online. So once you upload the project online, you get to be much work, more better. Like for example now, uh, maybe before every one of you will go, are you with me? It will be better I do this one for you. Do you get it now? I will start another video how you can upload a project online. Do you get it now? The project I'm going to upload online is going to be two. I will show you how to upload the Vue project online. I will show you how to upload your HTML project online, because me I already have some domain which I'm using for some of my students again. So if you get your own domain too, you can start uploading it online, because that's exactly what you need to work to discuss now. Do you get it now? So every one of you are going to work on the topic you already work on before. I know the topic you are working on. Do you get it now? For HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So you continue work on that topic. Like here now, these are our classwork activity we have been doing. If you look at this one here now, these are our Danjuma cow market on the JavaScript part here. This is where we stop on JavaScript. So if I open this particular one, Danjuma cow here now, do you get it now? You will notice that this is how it is appear. Abi, the one we did together, this is how it appear here now with all the design here, but it's not yet online. Are you with me now? What if I want to put this particular project online? This is how we do it. To get it, to put this, oh, let me save this first video and start